Welcome to Unbreakable Latina.
Hi guys, welcome back to Unbreakable Latina. I'm here with my friend Angela. Hi Angela.
Hey.
So this is my first podcast with a guest and I wanted to tell you guys how we met. How did we meet, Angela?
Oh my god. Let's see. Let me take a drink.
We're drinking some palomas.
We met back in
What did we say? 2015?
2015.
We were just two random strangers.
We went on a trip to Spain, and it was like one of those like college or like one of those bougie like ritzy trips that were like,
yeah, but we paid for them. Our parents did not pay for them. So we signed up through EF College Break. Oh my god, like we had so much fun on that trip, and it's crazy because like we're two girls that came from the IE. We both went to Cal State San Bernardino, had mutual friends. Maybe we crossed paths, maybe like at a party or something. And then we meet in Spain and we hit it off and like we just bonded. Like remember we went ziplining?
Yeah, that was fun.
We went ziplining and before they like let us go, we were doing over the biggest river.
I don't remember.
All I remember that shit was scary. I'm afraid of heights and I can't swim. And remember they were like, oh, make sure to leave a Yelp review because we've only been here for a week. And I was like, what? Was that a joke or was that real?
No, that was real.
Like I legit was like, real. This is where I die. That was like the craziest thing I've ever done, I think.
Oh yeah?
She's like, oh, that's cute. Oh yeah? That's cute. Sorry. We're here to tell you guys about how amazing dating apps are.
Or like dating in your 30s.
Yeah.
With, like, oh my god. I know like a lot of people can relate. I love hearing people's stories.
So Angela, what's your first favorite date that you can remember that's been the worst date that you've been on since you started dating on the app? She got catfish, guys. Please do your research. Like Angela is like just so nice. I'm the one that's like finding out who their mom and dad is and like what they do for a living and where they live and how much their house is. Yes, I'm psycho.
And here I am like, oh, he's cool. Let's just figure it out.
Yeah.
So I matched with him during the pandemic. I'd say, yeah. And
we're still in a pandemic.
Damn, it's been so long.
These past 2 years
I'd say
are
the beginning of the pandemic. And we matched on Hinge. That's been like a good app for me. And I noticed I'm into art, so I noticed his photos were kind of from far away, and like they're a bunch, like each photo was like by a mural, and I was like, oh, dope, like
oh, he's into art.
He's
I love him.
Art. I'm like, okay, cool, like I'll talk to him. So he would like message me every day on Instagram in my DMs, right? But he was so negative. Like, he'd be like, how was your day? And I'm like, oh, it's fine, whatever. And then he'd be like, my day was horrible and blah, blah, blah.
And you still went on a date with him?
I was like, damn, this guy, like, poor guy, right? But after a while, I'm like, damn, dude, like, you got some positivity in there. But he would message me, like, once a day. So, like, he wasn't my priority, right? I was dating some other dude. And one day, like, 2 months later, he's like, hey, I don't know if it's like too soon.
Too soon.
But like, would you feel comfortable like going on a date? And I'm like, okay.
Okay, pen pal.
I'm like, all right. Yeah, no, it's not too soon. So he told me to meet him at this coffee shop in Boyle Heights. And
that's far.
Yeah, but I had to go there anyway. I had to pick up my parents from the airport.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So I took advantage of this opportunity and I was like, okay, I'll meet you there. So I met him at 10 a.m. I forgot what the coffee shop was. And I texted him and I was like, hey, like I'm here. He's like, okay, cool. I'm here already. I'm in front. Keep in mind, like this is early in the pandemic, so everything is closed and there's no sit down inside. So I go to the coffee shop and I see this guy in front and I'm like, is that him? And like he looks a little bigger. Like keep in mind, his photos, I really didn't show who he was.
He knew how to work his angles.
He did. And so I go up to him and his name was like Nettie.
Wait, did you add him on Instagram before or like?
I did, and all his photos were from far away.
Oh my god! Like, come on, guys.
The art,
Angela.
though, they were so cool.
She's so nice, you guys. Like, I'm not. Like, if I see something like that, I'm like, yeah, no, let's FaceTime.
So I'm like, hey, and he's like, hey. He has his coffee in hand, and then like, I noticed that, like, you know how we have to wear masks? Well, like, he shaved that day, and the little pelos were on his shirt. And I was like,
you didn't tell me this.
I was like, oh my god. He's like, yeah, you know, I already got my coffee. Like, you can go inside and get yours. Oh, I'm like, oh, so you got your coffee? He's like, yeah, you can go inside and get it. Homie did not pay or like even go with
coffee. Oh,
that's
hell
like
no.
the first
like if
red
a guy,
flag.
if I would have went, like I would have just walked out. I would have been like, oh hey, I have an emergency.
One of the worst dates ever. This is like probably number one.
Why
No, this is number two. I have two bad days.
Oh shit. Okay, so then what happened?
So anyway, I ordered my coffee. I remember it was like some Mazapan like coffee, and so it was in July, and he was and we couldn't sit down, right, because of COVID. So he's like, do you want to like walk around? I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's all we can do, right? So we walk around, it's hood as fuck. He was such a downer, just talking about how he moved from New York and blah blah blah, this and that. I'm just listening, drinking my Mazapan coffee
that you paid
that I paid for. And then finally, like after an hour of walking, right, I'm like, you know what? I'm hot. I saw this one place. It was called Chelas. It's in LA. And I was like, dude, they're open. Like, I need a drink. And after listening to all his crap, I'm like, I need a drink. So we go up to Chelas, right? And that's when they're taking your temperature. And homie is so hot that the temperature, like, he doesn't pass.
Sweaty.
He was sweaty. And so, like, the girl's like, oh my god, it's okay. Like, here, drink some water, cool down. And I'm like, what the fuck? So, like, I'm like, can I see a menu? And so I ordered 2 micheladas for me.
Because I needed them.
I needed them. After that long walk and listening to him complain. And so I order and I pay and I sit down. And he finally sits down next to me and she brings them. And he's like, oh, you bought me a drink?
Oh my god.
And I was like,
like you bought me my coffee, dude.
I was like, yeah, because like, you know, it's hot and whatever, right? And he's like, okay, I got next round or whatever, right? So anyway, I'm drinking my drink and I'm pissed because he's drinking my other one. And the whole time he's talking about how like he's having a great time on this date. He's never had such a great date.
Well, yeah, no one has bought him a drink. You're the first girl to buy him a drink. I would feel special too.
And all the girls he's been on dates with are apparently fucking crazy. He's like, I don't understand. He's like, I attract crazy girls. And he's like, you're not crazy.
Wait, well, how long was this date? Like, you stayed for a while, right? That sounds like a long time.
It was like 2.5 hours.
Is it because your parents weren't home
from
the airport?
Wait for them. Yeah.
Like, honestly, I would have rather just, like, dipped.
Well, I was drinking my drink that I paid for.
And he was drinking his drink that
I paid for. And then so he bought the second round, right? So I chugged it. And this whole michelada, and he's like, oh, we're chugging? I'm like, I'm chugging mine. And like, he like spills the drink on him because he's trying to chug. And I'm like, this is not a competition. I just want to leave. And he's like, oh, I can walk you to your car. I'm like, you know, I gotta go. I gotta pick up my parents, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I can walk you to your car. I'm like, no, it's fine. Like, it's right there. I can see it. And I left him there. And he texted me like 5 minutes later, like, it was the best date. I'd love to see you. And I just blocked him. I know, it's
you
so mature.
Ghosted him. Oh, remember that guy that I went, that I dated for a bit and like he took me to brunch and then he asked me to pay for half?
Oh my god.
Did I tell you? I told you what though. Okay, guys, so I dated this guy. And he was cool. He was really cool. Like, whatever. I'm like, it was fun. We would have a good time. We would go out. And, like, he was like, oh, like, I want to invite you to brunch for my mom's birthday. And I was like, ooh, like, meeting the family, you know? Like, what the hell? But I was like, ah, fuck it, whatever. Like, moms love me. So we go to brunch. And, like, at this point, we'd been dating for a couple weeks. And we go to brunch and I'm just ordering margaritas and I know like in my mind I was like, yeah, I'll like slip him like, like $30 or something.
Yeah.
But at least like he invited me to go to his
you
family
bought him like
thing.
a cake too, right?
Yeah, like I was like, oh, I'm gonna make a good impression, and I bought like a little small cake for the mom, and she was all thankful, and they were really nice people. I'll give them that. And so, like, I'm already buzzing, right? I didn't drive, and like his family's drinking, everybody's drinking. They have mariachi playing. It's like the perfect scenario, right? So the bill comes, and everybody starts splitting the bill. And then he goes, "Oh, what'd you order?" And I was like, "Oh, like the 3 margaritas, and then my chile rellenos." And then he said, "All right." He's like, "Can you sell me?"
What?
He legit was like, "Can you sell me?" And I turned around and I was like,
He invited you to
he
his
invited me to his
thing.
mom's birthday and asked me to sell him for
Oh my
and
God.
legit, like,
Did you?
Yes. Yeah. And like on our way home, he was like, "Are you upset with me?" And I was like, "I don't know, it's kind of embarrassing. Like, you invited me to your mom's brunch and then you're charging me for half."
Know.
And I was like, "It's cool, don't worry about it." But already in my head, I was already checked out. I was like, ugh. What's your other bad date?
Oh my God, I think this one takes the cake.
Is it the guy with the fishbowl?
Yes.
I love this
I
one.
am drink. Let's see, let's do my drink. So I moved to Oakland for a job in San Francisco, and I'm like, okay, I gotta start dating. Like, this is time. So I just like start talking to this guy on this app. He's from the IE. I'm like,
Oh my
what?
God, so mad.
I know, right? Because nobody knows what the IE is up there. And we're talking, and he's like super communicative. He even like let me know. He's like, "Hey, I'm going to music festival this weekend. Like, we'll meet up when I come back. Like, we'll talk when I come back." And in my mind, I'm like, whatever. We're not gonna talk ever again. And so like he does follow back up.
Oh my
with
God,
me.
the bare minimum. He
Seriously,
did.
I'm like, really? Because I was already like not expecting anything. And I noticed like he did talk a lot, like through chat. And I'm like, okay. I'm not really one of like much of a texter.
Yeah, she's not good. She's very short.
I am.
Yeah.
I know,
I'm like, does she even like me?
I've gotten that before. You're my close friends.
But I'm like, I know that you're busy because, working.
Yeah.
And me, I'm over here like pouring my heart out to Angela. And she's like, okay, I'll see you later.
I know, I get that. I'm so sorry. So like, I know, which is like why dating apps are not for me. You gotta meet me in person.
Hey guys, Angela's going to Target 7 p.m. on Saturday.
Right.
Meet her there.
So I go, so he like texts me and he's like, "Hey, like, do you want to go out for drinks?" I'm like, "Oh, we make a date." I get to, it was called Kona Club, this Hawaiian bar. And I get there before him, right? It's like Thursday. And I text him, I'm like, "Hey, I'm here." And he texts me, he's like, "Hey, I just parked down the street. I'm so sorry, like, blah, blah, blah. I'll be there in a few minutes." So I'm like standing in front of the club. All of a sudden, like, I look and I see this guy like running full speed towards me.
He was late.
He was like booking it. Like he was a cross country.
He's a cross country star.
He's sprinting and like he's literally running to me, and he stops and he's like, "Angela?" And I'm like, "Yeah." His name was Alex. And I was like, "Yeah, I know. Hey, Alex." And he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Like, how long have you been?" Like, literally, probably like 3 minutes, right? And he was like, "Oh, do we hug? Like, do we?" Like, he was so nervous, anxious, and like he gives
Was
me
it his first date?
I don't know. He gives me this awkward like hug, and he's like, "Should we go inside?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's go inside." So we walk inside the bar, and I notice like he's yelling, like he talks. He's like one of those that talks.
Oh, hell,
and
that's
yell.
like super unattractive when guys do that.
And he's talking to me, and everybody looks at me like, "Why is he yelling?" And he's like, "What kind of drink do you want?" And I'm like, "Oh my God."
Was there music playing or he was just
not
loud?
really, not that loud. Where people
He was
are
louder
looking
than
at
the music.
Seriously. And he's like, "Do you get first round? I get second round." I mean, he's like, "I get first round, you get second
round." Are you
round."
drunk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, "You know what? Yeah, let's just do that. That's fine. You get the first round." So he gets the first round. Because I'm in my head, I'm like, he can buy the first round. And if it's lame, I'm going to leave.
No, you're not. You're going to stay because you're nice. Why you lying to yourself?
And so anyway, I found the table that's farthest away from everyone because he was yelling. And all of a sudden, I see this guy coming with a punch bowl that's on fire 2 straws. 2 straws.
Well, wait, a server or like
No,
or like
him.
your date?
It's him.
With fire?
The punch bowl was on fire.
No, that's dangerous.
So he comes, he's like, hey, I chose this drink. I'm like, oh,
there's fire here.
In my head, I'm like, are we 21? Because I think I was like 28 at the time. I'm like, I gotta work in the morning. So I'm like,
you still drank it.
I know, because I'm like, okay, 2 straws, fancy, romantic.
Romantic, Lady in the Tramp.
And so anyway, it gets worse. He starts saying like, talking about, he's like, this is like my second Hinge date. Like the last girl, like, we were dating for a little bit, but she wanted to sleep with me and I wasn't ready. He's like, I don't want to sleep with you right away, okay? Like, I just want to, like, get to know you. And I'm like, that is fine.
Trust me, bro. We're not getting there.
And he kept talking. He's like, I'm just letting you know, like, I don't want to pressure you. He's like, I'm just not ready to have sex with you. And after that, after, like, 3 minutes of the conversation.
Bro, I don't want to sleep with you.
I started sipping this bowl. I was like, oh, this is why you bought me the drink to listen. Anyway, like I honestly don't remember what we talked about, but the fishbowl went dry, and so what? Then it was my turn, and I was like, after that fucking talk,
did you buy another fishbowl?
I bought the fishbowl because I needed the fishbowl. I was like, I need a drink because this guy is driving me crazy.
But
and so I bought the second one.
Did you want to sleep with him after?
No, I left him there. You
left.
I left.
I'm so proud of you.
I called my Uber and I left, and he texted me like, "Where'd you go?" And I blocked him and I left.
Aww.
We're talking about the apps. You said that you use Bumble.
I've used Bumble, but I don't like Bumble because in Bumble you have to start the initiate the conversation.
What's your line?
I can't remember, but like I would say like I think I would. It just depends. Like, okay, if a guy has something on their profile and like they gave me something to work with, I can work with that. Like, I can make a joke about it because funny. Mm-hmm. But like when they don't have anything, like it has like questions where you could like you answer one question and once you both answer, then you could match. But
you really think about this?
What do you say, hi?
No, I say, what's your favorite dinosaur?
And that works.
Yes, it works every
Hinge. Okay, so Hinge, do you like it?
I like it.
But like the thing I don't like about Hinge is that you can't verify people, so you don't know if they're real or not.
Well, I mean, that's when you like go to their Instagram. Like,
yeah. That's why you ask for their Instagram. Mm-hmm. But then, okay, how do you feel about guys that don't have social media? Like they're like, I don't have Instagram, I don't have Facebook. Is it a red flag for you?
That hasn't happened to me, but honestly, like that would be a flag. Like, how can you not?
Yeah, like, I mean, okay, so when I met, a couple guys that I met didn't have social media, and I'm like, are you married? Mm-hmm. And then, not only that, so then I'd be like, oh, do you have a LinkedIn? 30 and professional over here. And like, 2 of the guys did have LinkedIn, so I felt comfortable, because they match whatever, like, company they said they work at and stuff, so I felt comfortable with that. But at the same time, I'm like, what are you hiding?
Red flag is not having social media, and it's not like saying, you have to have some kind. Right? Because, like, it does feel... I mean, we're millennials. Like, we have to. That's weird if you don't. How many hours are you working? Like, 10 or 12.
Like, when do you find time to make time for dates?
Oh, my God. It's so hard. Like, how do I find balance? Honestly, it's very hard.
So, have you been more picky? You've been more picky on who you actually go on dates with because of how little free time you have?
Yeah. It honestly just depends on their effort. For example, like I was dating that one guy a couple months ago, and he would text me every day, and I really liked that he was also
busy.
I won't say workaholic. Maybe
You're a workaholic.
I am a workaholic. But he just understood that, and like I didn't have to explain that because I've dated guys who aren't, and they have more free time than I do.
Oh my God, yeah.
And they're texting me all the time. And one guy was like, we just started dating. And he was like, next time you don't answer your phone, like, I'm going to FaceTime you to see where you're at. I'm like, dude, we've only been on, like, 2 dates.
I don't know if I'll get back on the apps. I really don't. Because, like...
I don't believe that.
Huh?
I don't believe that. You're saying this... Okay, let's keep you truthful. You won't?
Well, like, I don't know. It's just... The dating apps for me have been, like, it's been rough for me. Like, and because I've dated a couple guys from there, and I'm just like maybe I should just go back to just meeting people to like through mutual friends, but I don't really go out too.
Our lifestyles are changing. It's not like we go out all the time, you know?
And when we do go out, well, you go out with a bunch of friends.
And I never had to do dating apps, but now that
I'm old.
I work, and there's really no other way.
And Angela's working remotely, guys.
And I work remotely.
She doesn't meet anybody.
And so, especially like before I was working remotely, like my whole team, like my boss met his husband on OkCupid. My coworker, she's living with her boyfriend of 3 years. They met on Hinge.
I have a friend that told me that her sister met her husband on Tinder.
Wow.
And then her sister-in-law also met her husband on Tinder. And I'm like, I've been on Tinder, and like I deleted it within like 2 days because there was just a bunch of
yeah, that's
F-boy. Alright, guys, so like now that we talked about our terrible dates, like Angela, what do you want to find on the dating apps? Like, what's your ideal dude?
Honestly, like I said, I'm looking for a partner. Like, I just want a chill ass dude who's motivated, who's good to his parents, who's responsible financially, who's funny, and who likes to travel. And
is that too much to ask for, guys?
I know. And who has a corgi. Is that too much to ask?
I mean, that's the guy that you're kind of talking to,
and
right?
I'm scared. Like, honestly, I really need to meet this man because...
Do you think, like, he just hacked your brain and, like, he's just telling you everything you want to hear?
No, because on his profile, I was like, this dude has a corgi. I don't know, maybe he's hacked my brain. That's weird. I don't know.
No, I feel like, I mean, that's a legit expectations that you should have. Like, at this point, how old are you now?
30.
We're trying to pimp you out here.
I feel like
if you guys have a 30-year-old male who's motivated with a corgi and what else? Who likes to travel. Likes music festivals.
Yes.
And just wants a down-ass hyena, like, hit up Angela. Let me know, guys.
My Insta handle is...
Hey, pimp yourself out.
Are you serious?
Yes. Like,
my Insta handle is Angela_Elaine. That's it.
And then if you could find her on Hinge and Bumble, make sure your mile radius is high because sometimes she's in San Diego, sometimes she's in the
I be everywhere. Mm-hmm.
She's a great person. I like hanging out with her.
Thank you.
No, it's funny because we have like similar personalities, but like
we're so different.
We're so different. All right, guys. Bye.